Buongiorno and welcome to the More Worth Thinking podcast, or MWOT for short, hosted by me, Lee Grino, here live from a man cave every week. Hope you're doing well out there. I had a meal the other night outside a lovely restaurant. It was fucking freezing. Why do we do it, us Brits? Sat there for a good 3.5 hours and yes, it was very cold. I've actually got a vest, which I wear on a motorbike in the winter, that's actually got a heating element in it. You can plug it into like a battery pack. I think I'm actually going to wear that next time I'm outside a pub or a restaurant. That is a godsend, tell you. If you have a look, you can get them off eBay, 20 quid, best thing ever bought. Anyway, what am I going on about? Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Soon we're allowed in anyway, 17th of May, so all good, all something to look forward to. Now, today I'm talking to Gurps Sidhu, and I've known Gurps for a while. He came on the radio show. He's an actor, Midlands actor, and he just keeps firing away at all these different jobs and keeps growing in his career. And it's just great to get him back on and talk about what he's been up to recent, because he's been up to some really interesting stuff. And it's interesting about his journey to where he is now. So a real cracking episode coming up for you. Now, my way of thinking is all about us. I've got a frog in my throat today. Amazing human beings that all have a story to tell. Those stories can vary massively, but with the guests I'll be interviewing, you'll always be able to take a little bit of advice or insight into how extraordinary we can all be. Remember, only 4 rules. 1, no bullshitting. 2, no judging. 3, no negativity. And 4, have fun. Also, remember to listen back on previous episodes. Got some cracking episodes on there. Ira Israel talking about mindfulness. Just a lovely guy. Darren Brown fan. Darren Brown. I always get that wrong. Loads of others. So make sure you look back on those. Remember, the podcast streaming on the usual platforms. Spotify, iTunes. It's also on YouTube if you want to see this beautiful face. If you just put My Way of Thinking podcast in, we pop up everywhere. Ooh. And if you think you would like to be a guest, or you know someone who you think would be a great guest, email me. It's mwhatpodcast@aol.com. Okay, enough of me ranting. Let's get on with it. Here's my brilliant interview with the brilliant Gurps. So, welcome to My Way of Thinking, and today I have a very special guest. It is the one and only Mr. Gurps Sidhu. How are you, Gurps? Woo!
I'm all right, greatly. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm a bit tired because last night I was up with my son and we were watching a film, and I love it because I love film, as you know, and I'll watch an old film, and sometimes he'll be like, "Oh, this is rubbish," because it's old, and he doesn't get. He doesn't get the nostalgia, but I was watching Life of Brian, the comedy. Have you ever seen it, Monty Python?
Life of Brian. I've not fully seen it, but yes, I can relate with you on some level there.
It's so funny, and he was pissing himself. So it was quite good that, you know, something I found funny, he found funny as well. So, the problem was we were up late, having a few beers, and I'm absolutely knackered now. Not very professional.
To be fair, actually, it's a bit weird you say that, because I'm a bit kind of, well, like you were saying, tired as well, but not for the reason you were saying. I recently had the COVID vaccine.
Oh right, okay. How did that go?
I had it on Tuesday, and it was. To be fair, Lee, I'm not a big fan of needles, but you know, I kind of, you know, I thought, right, I've got to be a man about this. And but a few side effects, nothing too bad, but tiredness is kind of one of them. But you know, it's gone better than I'd expected. So that's the reason.
Good. That's good. Well, I know there's been a lot of talk about the vaccines, but I always said if it's good enough for the Queen, it's good enough for me.
Apparently Boris Johnson's got it now as well. So
that's it. Yeah. I'd rather the Queen be fitted out than Boris, but hey, there you go. But I'm hoping to get it. I'm looking forward to it. I know there's been a lot of talk about it doing this and doing that, but at the end of the day, it's saving lives, and it's going to give us our freedom back.
And the death rates are also falling, which
Yeah.
is great. Yeah, which again, it all correlates together, like with lockdown being released, and
Yeah.
so step in the right direction.
It's funny we're talking about that. What I usually do before each podcast, I'll do like a funny story because I'll read the news. And what I didn't have any funny stories today because the one that I just wanted to touch on is it's actually a year ago today that was the last day of freedom, so to speak, and we went into lockdown. So I know this podcast goes out a couple of weeks later, but actually today, while we're recording it, which is the 20th of March. This time last year was the last day we had to spend in restaurants.
I remember.
Pubs.
Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it?
It was a nightmare. And just like when I remember clearly when I heard that announcement, I was just like, what?
I know. It was crazy. And I was just looking at sort of, it's just going through what happened. And the first big restaurant was Zizi, the Italian restaurant. They said they were closing. And then Boris came on and said, hopefully we'll turn the tide in 12 weeks.
Yes, he did. He did say
you think, wow, how things changed. Then the Queen did a message. Then emergency COVID laws were unveiled. But the big thing for me, and this is something I think that we'll all remember certain things. And this is quite funny. Me and my wife, we said, oh, the pubs are going to be closing. So we went to I said, let's go and have something to eat and a drink because I think the pub's going to be closed tomorrow. And we drove towards the pub, and it was all locked. And
it was all already locked.
It hit me then. I was like, wow, this is real. It
reminds me a bit of that film. A lot of that film, Contagion.
Yeah.
Contagion. And I watched it before, and then I watched it recently in lockdown, and it's like, bloody hell, did them guys actually know something was going to happen?
Yeah, there's similarities. I know. I watched it as well because it did well again. And I watched it before and I forgot all about it. Watched it again, and this time I'm like, Christ, how did they know? And I'll tell you something else that's quite funny. Do you remember when Michael Jackson always used to have a mask on and everyone used to take the piss out of him? Did he know something?
It's weird. It's weird because when you ever see something on TV now, because there's a lot of films where it talks about a virus wipes out a nation, and then intelligent apes take over or something like that. That was actually speaking of that. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes I watched recently. You can anything with the word virus or flu in it, you can all of a sudden now relate to it more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like, let's just hope apes don't come round here.
Well, and the time, I've found the time has been quite weird this time. You sort of lose track of time. You think, that's what it threw me when it said a year ago today. And I thought, wow, I didn't even think. So much has happened, yet not much has happened.
It has, yeah. I mean, it's made us, I think, myself in particular, it's appreciate the little things. And because some of the things maybe consciously or subconsciously I took for granted. And then when it was lockdown, all I could think about is, bloody hell, I hope I can get some milk and cereal. And it's not like,
I think what we've got to do is take the positives out of it, and there has been loads of positives. I've talked to people all over the world, on this, which I would have probably never done. So there's lots of positive. People have come together. There's a few idiots that have tried to be, diverse,
tried to channel off,
push us all apart. But the majority of us have come together, which is great. And when you go to the supermarket and everyone's wearing masks and everyone's abiding by the rules, it's very, fair
good.
Play.
And this vaccine again, it's it's another positive. To be fair, with everyone being vaccinated, and So hopefully, it goes 21st of June, Lee. 21st of
25th,
June.
well, 12th of April will do me, mate. 12th of
Oh,
April.
yes, the beer gardens.
I'll say it better be a sunny day that day.
Well, I'm just praying for a haircut, Lee, to be fair.
I don't have to worry about that.
I know, yeah. I've used my trimmer, but oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. It's been a year, and so you know.
Yeah. Time flies. To be fair, you don't realise it flies.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about your career in acting and what you're up to and things like that. For me, with my film, it completely put that on the back burner because that was going to be released last year.
Yeah, Kidnap. Yes.
Yeah, and we couldn't release it really. We couldn't premiere it. We could have done an online one, but I didn't want to do that because it's not fair on everyone. So, but the positive, I've wrote a new screenplay and done the podcast and other things. So you push your energies in other positions, I suppose. But anyway, so let's start talking about your career because we've known each other for a while now, and had you on the radio a few times, and but for people that haven't heard of you before and met you, so to speak, give us a little bit of background about growing up, Gurps. Where you're a Midlands lad, aren't you?
I am, yeah. So I was born in Nottingham, Queen's Medical Hospital to be specific. But so I was born in Nottingham, but from I think a very young age. So kind of parents moved to Derby, so we were living in sort of like the Normanton areas, of Derby. So I'll probably say about 2-3 years old. So, but I've grown up here in Derby, and going through the usual channels, schooling and everything. But it was more so. The first thing I watched on TV was sports like football. So that was kind of, you could say, like the very first thing that interested me, and how all the team plays together, that winning mentality and everything. But well, again, by coincidence, it happened to be Man United who were the first team I watched.
Oh my fucking god!
And I still support them, so I can't be accused of being a glory supporter.
I didn't know that. I wouldn't have had you on if you'd have told me before.
Oh damn! And so yeah, that was the sort of first thing that interested me, so to speak, and then kind of that just actually followed through the years that I was growing up and things. But I was always then, for some reason, interested in playing sports rather than sitting down in a classroom, and it's like. And I still remember science classes. Oh my god! And it was like, and maths was like the worst. But anything that was theory based, it was just torture for me. But give me anything as in practical terms, playing a football match, hockey, basketball, anything. I'd really enjoy that. Because it's something that I would do, like to get involved in. So that's kind of still stayed as well with me. And then went into college, and so I actually that point I thought, right, I'm going to pursue sports. So I did the proper course, level 1, 2, and 3 at college. Then did a degree at University of Derby. BA honours in sport and exercise studies, but something happened in the third year. Now I clearly remember, and I was doing my dissertation at home, and because the third year we had a lot of free time, and I thought I was typing my dissertation. I thought, I don't want to do this.
What a time to realise that.
Yeah, and I thought, I don't want to do this, but there was something there, and I thought, I keep losing interest in things really quick, and I've got to, I was struggling to get that thing, and then a mate suggested to me, he did extra work on TV and soaps, films and stuff. And
What was
he
it?
goes, "Why
What was it that you wanted to do in sports, Gurps?
So in sports, it was two things I was mainly interested in. It was either it was a nutritionist, or
Right.
I wanted to become a personal trainer.
Right. Okay.
But of course, you wouldn't think that looking at me now, but back then I was kind of in decent shape. So it's when all these takeaways and fry-ups took
Oh no!
over.
Tell me about it. Yeah, tell me about it. So for
But
some reason, then you
yeah.
just had that change of thinking and think. Actually, this is not what I wanted to do.
Something in my head, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it was all. I was the first 2 years I was enjoying my degree, but saying that I didn't like sitting down in a classroom, but there
Yeah.
was something, which I was enjoying. But then I thought, right, third year. But then I finished the third year. I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to finish this, graduate my degree, and then I'll see what
Yeah.
kind of I want to do. And then sort of again, because I've always had a job, and then I was just working, earning money, and then a mate suggested to me, he goes, "Look, I do film, and I'm an extra on like film and TV soaps and stuff," and he kind of put me through to the right sort of contacts, agents, and getting like headshots done, and kind of then I think then something kind of started, something really sort of interested me, because I remember my first job. It was a 2-day job. My first extra job on Emmerdale, actually it was.
Gee, good old Emmerdale.
Yeah,
Were you in the
yeah.
Woolpack?
It was actually. There weren't scenes in the Woolpack then, but it was the church. It was a christening scene.
Oh, well.
And but that church, right? You watch it on TV. It was a christening scene, and it was a multi-episode, so it went into 2 episodes. And that church, you look at it on TV and you think, oh, that's nice. Well, you sit there and it's bloody freezing. It's like a den. And but yeah, and kind of that sort of really interested me. How you make an episode, what a filming day consists of. What it involves, the preparation and everything. But kind of I was still a bit iffy at that point, because I remember clearly I started extra work on TV in April 2012, but it wasn't till October, November 2012 where I thought, actually, where I had done few extra jobs on TV, I thought, actually, if I was to take this a bit further, how far could I go? At that point, I thought, right now, I'm actually going to go for it. But I had an idea that it wouldn't be easy, but only the process when it started, then I realized, actually, this is quite, difficult, and, not like a normal thing that you would do, like a 9 to 5.
Yeah. Did you have a job so you had a job while this was all going on? Was the job to do with sports, or was it?
No, it's, I had various jobs. So we're talking from 2012, I think, because I was in retail for quite a long time, like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how I survived that long in retail, but anyway. But
so you didn't use your degree at all then?
I haven't used my degree because it's that something, and it's crazy, something that clicked in my head, and a friend of mine who I still speak, I'm still in touch with, Daniel. He also did the same degree as me. He's now got his own window cleaning business.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah,
it's crazy that I think what it is. I didn't really believe this before, but I think things have already, like, there's this thing about destiny, perhaps, where something's already been decided for you. You might go, let's say you're supposed to go to the right, but sometimes life takes you straight on or to the left.
Yeah.
It's at that crossroads. But when you go around in a circle, you'll you'll go back to that thing that you are supposed to, even if you don't subconsciously
Yeah,
realize.
that's a good point. And what I've found, especially talking to people
Yeah,
on the podcast, is when you are that age leaving school, you don't know what you
yeah.
want to do. You'll
You
get the
don't
odd
know.
person that says,
Yeah,
I always wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor, and that's great. But the majority
yeah.
of kids don't know what they want to do. So a lot of the
No,
time they'll think, oh, I'm interested in sports, so I'll do the degree. And,
yeah,
it's not really what they want to do. And a lot of people do that. I
no,
suppose now there's less because of the
no.
cost of uni, but I
Yes,
still think it happens. I still think there's kids out there that
yeah,
do all those years, come out,
yeah,
don't get a job, the job they wanted,
yeah.
and then never end up using that degree. So it's such a waste, isn't it? And not saying, and don't get me wrong, education's brilliant if it's
Yeah,
right for you and, like I
right.
say,
Yeah,
you are sure.
yeah,
But if
yeah,
it's not, it can sort of be a bit of a waste.
yeah. It can be. Yeah, and it's sort of this is the thing. You see, you can be again. You just don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah,
You can be so sure that actually I want to do this. Like again, referring back to one of my friends, he's actually he wanted to do something in law. I know him from school,
yeah,
but he's actually gone on to progress in that. He's a barrister
yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he travels all around the UK. So it it depends. Sometimes it can be that thing where actually I want to do this, and you will
Yeah.
actually go on to form a career in it.
Mm. So,
But
so, so acting wise, then you did the extras job, and then when did you get, a role where
yeah,
it was a bit more meaty?
yeah, a bit more meaty. It was. I remember. So I'd only just kind of then I was told about Star Now then because I think
Oh yeah,
and then my friend also told me about Star Now. He goes, get yourself on there, get your professional photographs posted on there, and keep building up your experience. And it was a feature film it was called The List. It was filming somewhere in Derbyshire, just on the outskirts of Derby. I can't exactly remember where now, but it was to play the role. It was a journalist. It was a small speaking part, actually.
mm.
But things kind of happened a bit opposite with me, because normally you'll get your training first, so you can break that ice a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
That you have that issue. Sometimes a person may have that issue of performing in front of people.
yeah.
But mine totally happened opposite, and like it was. So yeah, I had a small speaking part. So it was like the two lead, the two lead actors. They come out of house. I think something's happened. It was like um, a murder took place or something had happened, and there was this bunch of journalists, and I was the main journalist. I think you come rushing. Came like the shot was. It was quite fun actually. You came rushing forward and said, "Mr. Whatever it was,
Yeah,
is it true that this, and this?" And you had to be right in his face with the
yeah,
mic
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like, "This is." I thought to myself, "This is quite good," even though it was a long day. And I thought, but you know what? That didn't bother me because
Yeah.
that process I was just really enjoying. And
There's always
um,
there's always a good energy on set as well, isn't there?
there is, yeah, and just the matter of fact that to play somebody else that's not you, it was a completely different experience. Like you got to play a journalist. You watch the news and you watch the journalists and stuff. So I did kind of go home and I actually was watching the news quite regularly to see how like journalists speak, how they're kind of like their body languages, how they project their voice. So it was kind of first time where I thought to do some research on a role. It kind of I did put the effort in, just didn't think about it subconsciously,
Mm.
consciously.
Yeah.
But that was my first
Yeah.
sort of, yeah.
It's because the reason I ask is because a lot of people, and I've known people that have been extras. Some
Yeah,
people stick to being extras. It's good
yeah,
money. It's not so involved,
yeah.
and it's a good little sideline. So,
It is, yeah.
but did you
Yeah.
realise moving over to trying to be, have speaking roles,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
big jump because that's far more committed and
That is
a lot harder to get into.
a lot harder to
Yeah.
get into, and it is, yeah. But again, until you don't start digging deep and actually say, right, actually, I'm going to burn all the bridges in the sense that I am going to do this now.
Mm.
That is also another big decision as well, because like you were just saying, now the speaking roles is a completely different ball game, and then I started drama school. So it's actually Derby Academy of Acting, which is
All
not too
right.
far from me. A guy called Neil Birch, actually, he's been in the industry since I think 1984, 85.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's, to be fair, and working with him, he was it was so good. Like, it was like when he gave you something to work on, he'll say, right, actually, can you try this like this? Or he'd perform it his way and say, look, can you try it like this? So, and it was just kind of like, it was different. I learned from him that how there's different methods to saying, like, let's say there's just 4 lines, there's 20 different ways,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
more, of saying them lines.
Yeah.
And again, that was another great insight for me, that just 4 lines, you can say it in so many different ways. There's no set way, which kind of like opened quite a few things for me to like play around with things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, let's say, if you're doing something and you're angry, it doesn't have to mean that you're shouting at the top of your head.
Mm.
It can be just, you can just say something subtly, but you can have that look in your eyes as well,
Yeah,
which can have the
definitely.
same effect. So that kind of process was, I was
Yeah.
enjoying and I was learning. But drama school, they used to do this bit at the end of the term where all like 2 classes used to merge together. Then you're talking about 40 people, and you used to have to perform a monologue. And that was the first time I performed in front of a load of people.
Yeah.
And when my drama teacher told me this, my first reaction was, "Are you kidding me?" No, because that was actually, even though I'd been on a film set, this was, the amount of the audience here was far greater.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I hadn't been that nervous in God knows how long. I was shaking,
Yeah.
and I managed it. I survived it, but I don't know how, Lee. I
I
don't know
bet you
how.
felt great afterwards, though, didn't you?
I felt great because it broke that barrier, that
Mm.
where if you want to be an actor, you are going to have to perform in front of people, because that, again, filmmaking, it involves people. You have the camera person, the assistant, the DOP, and everyone, and the runners and everyone. They're all part of the job. They have to be there, so you have to kind of accommodate to that. But and then I started the process. I know each step, it seemed a bit difficult for me because I was quite a shy person.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, if I'm to do this, I have to break the barrier. If someone's got a fear of heights, they
Mm.
have to face their fear to overcome it. So this was no different.
Yeah, I talk about that quite a lot on the podcast. If you feel
Yeah,
uncomfortable in a situation,
yeah,
when you push yourself through being
yeah,
uncomfortable, it's how you grow. It's how you become more experienced, but it's just pushing through those barriers. You
yeah,
can say it's fear, but I like to say if I'm going to do something, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I know I'm growing, and
yeah,
I find that, and that's why I think actors are so brave. I tried it once, and I just thought, wow, they are so brave. And the other thing is like you say, you've got in front of a camera
yeah,
where you've got a crew and you've got a camera, and you almost use that camera as your audience. And then you've got the other side, which is like theatre, where you are so vulnerable because with camera you can have 3 or 4 takes or more.
You
But
can.
with a theatre in front of people, there's no escape. So
there's no. But this is the thing, Lee, and also it's actually a good job you mentioned that, because up until now, and to be fair, I continuously work to improve myself, but by default or somehow it just happens, I do forget my lines. No matter how much I've prepped, there's always something in my head which is like, it goes blank. It's like a mental block kind of thing. But for that reason, I've never done theatre. I would like to do theatre, but it's if for me, if I forget, it doesn't come back to me. And this has been the process. I think it's coming up to nearly 8 years now that I've been acting. It won't come back to me, and you cannot do that on stage.
No,
that
totally
cannot
different.
happen. So I kind of think, actually, well, that's just one thing. That there's also a lot of other things, other than I can do. So, I concentrate on them. But I think each to their own, really.
Too right. Yeah. So where are we now then? Obviously, you contacted me, and you've got a couple of projects on the go. Tell us a little bit about these, then, Gurps.
So actually, it's kind of amazing, really, because I suppose it's just the sequence of events, how they happen. But before pre-lockdown, obviously, I'm building up, like I have been since 2012, building up my portfolio and short films, feature films, etc. And then when you are put forward in terms of agency jobs, so jobs with my agent, now, a handful of them, like, they put me forward, and again, it's up to the director if he wants to pick you or not. I mean, the agent can only do so much, and then, I did get a string of rejections, to be fair, and then I was like, actually, you know what? I goes, this is what it's like. I've just got to kind of, keep going, because as a performer, you have these up and down phases. It's normal. We're all human. And I was just like, you know what? Just, I need to stop worrying about things too much. Although I'm better equipped to take criticism and stuff, but it's
because when you get rejected, and I've been rejected numerous times, you don't get any feedback a lot of the time.
No, you don't.
You've got to have a tough skin, because if you don't, you start thinking, what's wrong with me? You have to put yourself in their shoes, that they are just making a decision, whether you're right for them, whether you're not. That it's nothing personal.
It's nothing personal, no. It's just, see, with me, I've got used to it now. I've got quite a thick skin, and, I'm just sort of like okay, it's fine, if not, I've kind of programmed into my head that the rejections that I get is in preparation for a project that I will get.
Yeah, exactly.
I can program myself better now as you spend time in the acting industry. So, and then so I'm with an agent called. One of the agents I'm with is called DK Model and Casting they're based in Sheffield, and they messaged me. They said, there's this photo shoot, and we're talking start of 2020 last year, so January time, and they said there's this shoot. We're looking to doing a photo shoot to promote a well-known tinned brand of food. And they didn't tell me what it was. I mean, sometimes they only give you that bit of brief. And I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, put me forward for it, and then a couple of weeks later, I got it. Right. I got that job, and it was a photo shoot to promote Ye Old Oak hot dogs. Honestly, and like, And I was like, well, I didn't say this to my agent, and I was like, I thought to myself, sometimes when you've had a string of no's and a yes comes, and it's like bloody hell, is this really happened? And so it was for Ye Old Oak, and I was like, brilliant. I was like, and so it was we did a photo shoot where it was quite fun actually. It was new, so I was with the two other people, but I was sitting down, sort of kind of watching and to see what kind of the director wanted. So it was like, yeah. And this is like, it's the first time I've done something which is comical actually.
Yeah.
So you're like, right. He was like, so you got a hot dog here. So imagine that. So he goes, right. Imagine you've had a long day at work, right? It's been a really bad day at work.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, you've been looking forward to this hot dog, right? Right. And I was like, right, okay. And like, and so I had it there like this, and I didn't know there's so many different ways you can hold a hot dog. And he was like, right. And he was like, right, so I've told you that. He was like, go. And I just went like that. And he was like, and he just went, and then, right, he goes, do something else. So I hold it in the other hand, and I went like that. And you know what? I did not know what I was doing, but the director, he was loving it.
Yeah.
He was like, this is brilliant.
Did you have to eat hot dogs as well?
I did. I tried it. I did try it. It was quite nice actually, to be fair.
Imagine if it tasted like shit.
Well, to be fair, no, because it was like proper. They put the sauce on it and everything.
It weren't plastic, was it?
Yeah.
A fake one.
So something like you try and eat it, and it turns out to be a plastic replica or something.
But hey, a job is a job, and like you say, you enjoyed it and you learned something from it.
Yeah, I learned something from it, and you could say if. And again, it was for Ye Old Oak, so I was like, I said yes without thinking at the end of the day, because again, it's when you do a project, you think, how will this add value to my profile, and can I add value to it?
Yeah.
So I just went for it, and the day went again like I was just doing them facial expressions. It was brilliantly, honestly.
Yeah, and if the guy, and like you say, it's all about connections. If the guy likes you, and then he gets another job come up, who knows when, he might think, oh, Gurps was good at that, and get you. So it's all working in the right direction, isn't it?
Yeah, plus also when you're saying about connections, the next month I went back and I got some headshots done with him.
Okay, brilliant. Oh, that's good.
So
where's this? Where? Go on, carry on then. So where did that lead to next?
So then lockdown happened. So yeah, this was, I think, Ye Old Oak shoot was end of January last year, and then lockdown kind of happened, and I was like, oh man.
Nightmare.
I just felt I was just getting started, and then, but I just thought, I think a good thing is, because I'm a key worker, Lee, so being able to still go to work has kept that balance, even in lockdown, like, going out, speaking to, human beings, and, it's been good, and in that sense, so I'm quite grateful for that as well. And then I just kept applying for jobs. I did a music video. It was last year was actually the most diverse. The first year where I got the most diverse range of projects by default. Then I got a music video, like I was just saying, and it was to do with racism and discrimination, actually.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
That it was filmed at home, and then the director put it all together, and he just said, look, it's the soundtrack was called Dirty Nasty Truth by a guy. It was Terry Guy. He's a UK songwriter.
All right. Okay.
So I got to kind of collaborate with him, and that was good as well, to do something with like a social message, because where obviously we do live in, I think again we do kind of all like try and get on with each other, but racism and discrimination is still part of society in some respects as well.
Yeah.
Like for example, using a different context in football, where it's quite prevalent now.
Yeah, it's a big topic at the minute, and I think it's a difficult one, because I think racism is better than it's ever been, but it's still there. But what we need to make sure it doesn't divide us, because what you've got to realise is those people who are racist, they are very few. It's the minority.
Minority,
which is, and we need to remember that it's getting the message through to these idiots, and not just saying, if I have an argument with you, you don't turn around and say we're being racist. Well, no, we're just having an argument, and it's making sure that message is, and the other thing as well, sometimes I think when these things escalate, like that Harry and Meghan fucking debacle that escalated,
oh, God.
We forget this is her with all her millions talking to Ofri. How much is she going to suffer through racism compared to some poor kid who hasn't got much money, growing up in a black family in a rough area, that could really suffer through racism. So it's a real difficult subject. But I mean, I think it's going in the right direction. And football, it's terrible when it happens in football, but it's great when they catch them, they ban them for life. So,
but there's this thing about also that this minority who are, racist, and they do discriminate. There's looking at the bigger picture. Just I hope the minority don't spoil it for the majority.
Yeah. And I think the key is we all group together and make sure that doesn't happen. Whereas when we start dividing people because we're arguing between ourselves, I mean, a big thing's coming up about sexism at the minute. And yes, sexism still exists, but again, it's a minority. My wife is far more powerful than me. She can take the power. She can take the high level job. I love it. So I think it's a big conversation, isn't it?
It is. But hopefully it's so we can get on top of it and kind of banish it eventually.
Hopefully. But you're always going to have a dickhead. You're always going to have people are always going to be. You're always going to have thieves. You're always going to have murderers. But it's that one person in so many people.
It is. We've got to kind of then look at the bigger picture. Also, like you were just saying, stick together. If you stick together, that has more of an impact than individuals, really.
Yeah, definitely. So this is all leading up to. Is it two projects you wanted to talk about? Which?
Yeah. So one of them has released, and it's being aired a couple of times, and then the second one is to be released. But again,
tell us about the one. Tell us about the one that's been released first, then.
Yeah. So it's again, Lee. It's one of those things where I find it fascinating in the sense that it's a true crime series, Countdown to Murder. It was.
Oh yeah.
So it's a returning series, actually, series 3. This is.
Okay.
It's 8 episodes, and I'm in the first one. It's the Jessica Patel story, where Jessica Patel and Mitesh Patel, they knew each other for quite some time. They were studying together. They grew a liking of each other, and their relationship progressed on from there. And
is it a true life story then?
Yeah, so this is a true crime series,
Oh, right.
Countdown to Murder.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the story of Jessica Patel. She was quite a bright girl. Again, had a lot going for they used her husband Mitesh Patel and Jessica Patel. They used to work in a pharmacy actually.
Yeah.
They bought a pharmacy on lease, but what it was is that some people got an inkling, like close friends, that Mitesh, they only had like a kind of a hunch that Mitesh might be gay,
Right.
but he was good at hiding it, and he had like a ulterior motive, basically, in the sense that he would use Jessica as a decoy to then kind of start a new life with his gay lover Amit Patel in Australia,
right.
And then also he had there was this insurance money, which was 2 million insurance money.
Wow, yeah.
He had his eye on as well, and then because he was Jessica really wanted a baby. She wanted to start a family, and then but in the end they went through the IVF procedure, and he thought that actually if I was to use IVF, and then he can take that to Australia and then start a new life, have a kid with his gay lover. But I've just got a bit of kind of on the Radio Times website. I've just got it here. I'm just going to quickly read it out to you, if that's okay. It's the true crime series returns Countdown to Murder. It's with the case of pharmacist Mitesh Patel. So in 2018, he called the police to tell them he had returned home to find his wife Jessica murdered. But however, it was a lie. Within weeks, Mitesh's double life as a gay man had become apparent to the police, and far from becoming a committed husband and a pillar of the Hindu community, he had been plotting an affair with his lover in Australia, Amit Patel. So that is the summary of that episode.
That sounds really interesting. When's it? Is it airing again, or is it?
Yes, it's airing again It's on the 24th of March, 10:30 p.m. Channel 5.
Right. Okay. I'll put a link anyway in the podcast, but obviously we'll release the podcast after that. But I'll keep an eye on that. 25th. I better write it down, otherwise I will forget.
24th of March, 10:30 p.m. Channel 5.
Oh, I'll look forward to that. So, what's your character in it then?
So I play Mitesh Patel.
Oh, do you? So how was that then? Because I bet that was a meaty role, weren't it? To put yourself through all that and wow.
So again with so this was this was when I applied for it. Again, I didn't know it was for Countdown to Murder or what the role would be. I got to know about that later on when they confirmed me for the job.
Yeah.
So Jessica Patel and Mitesh Patel, because they were the two main people involved in this story. So me playing Mitesh Patel, classed as a lead role was then. And then the actress who played Jessica Patel, her name was Vani K. Sharma. She was an actress from East London.
Oh, right,
so that was a new creative that I had met. And she was playing the character of Jessica Patel. So it was interesting to meet a new person. And also, not only that, given the nature of this, what this episode would have involved, and you've only just met the other person, we actually kind of got on quite well. We started speaking, and that kind of helped to kind of bring the episode a full circle and perform our roles to as honestly as possible.
Bounce off each other.
So
you're playing a murderer then?
It was to be fair, it's the first time I've had to play someone where there's no human element to this character, because I was trying to prep for this character, but somewhat it wasn't working because I think I was trying to humanize it, going off by my own research and what the director had sent me. So the director, Simon Gilchrist, he was the series producer, and he directed, that episode. And so it was a bit far-fetched. Then I thought, right, I've got to, this is going to be on television. I've got to, I've got to get this right. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to do this, Lee, but I thought, I started isolating myself.
Yeah.
So I used to, so in my own flat, in my room, I used to shut the door. I used to sit in the dark for 2 hours.
Yeah. Proper
I sat in the
method.
dark. And I thought I've got to do something because it's not working. And then this was like 3-4 weeks before the shoot, and I started doing that, and it started working. But to kind of keep myself kind of on a level surface, what I used to do is I used to go out for a walk to get some fresh air, but keeping the character still in my head, it was working. It was working, but it's kind of like I had to keep it level, kind of headed.
Because what you're playing a character who's playing a character. If you think of it, you're playing a character, and he was performing, wasn't he? Because it was all fake. So that's quite a few levels to go through there. I bet you really enjoyed it, didn't you?
I did enjoy it, to be fair, and I remember now it was the filming was in Brighton, and they'd booked the production. They booked a hotel for me, which was, I think it was just about 10 minutes away from the actual filming location. And I just did my last minute prep, and just outside the hotel, it was the Brighton beach. It was a lovely view.
Yeah.
I was just walking along there just to clear my head, like last minute, and to, but it wasn't until then, Lee, that I realized what the scope of this production was, like what I had been cast in.
Yeah.
Like, it just hit me then.
Yeah.
So, and I was just looking out to, onto the beach and stuff, sitting down, and I thought, then it hit me that, you've been cast in this. This is, quite a big thing for you, and it was, it was exciting, and but that was my prep. It was grueling, but it was worth it in the sense that, to be fair, I didn't know how it was going to turn out, because also what it was, when you are playing a real life character, it's the mannerisms, so body language, facial expression, just the way how you walk, or how you look at something or look at someone, that all these little things. But thankfully, when it aired on TV, it was on January the 19th. It came on television, and it was appreciated. Thankfully, fingers crossed, it was appreciated, and I thought, I'm happy that my prep came to good use. And the actress as well, Varney, she her performance, again, both of our performances were appreciated. And it's there's people who still haven't watched the episode who are watching it, who message me, or people at work who come up to me and say, that was a really good episode. And it's just that to get that level of appreciation, I'm just really happy to be appreciated. And the performance, it turned out the way I wanted it.
It makes it worthwhile. I can't wait to see it. And no doubt that's upped your acting game. So we talk about experience. That's put you another level of experience in, ready for the next step. So tell us about this new one then.
Yes, so the new one, it's called, it's Exiled, The Chosen Ones, this is called. And this is via a Birmingham director called Ranjit S. Marwar. So Birmingham-based director, Exile the Chosen Ones is a feature film.
Okay.
And again, I think I sent you the trailer link. I'll just read out the short summary here again. It's an action thriller.
Okay.
So it's my first action thriller I've been involved in, which I was quite excited about.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a huge fan of action films. You see it on TV, and to actually be involved in it, again, it's surreal. But if I just read out a quick summary here. So it's after a man-made virus fails to reduce the world's overpopulated areas, global leaders would start a new program that would legitimize a new venture in a game show. So the game show would be broadcast live, and where random contestants would be exiled into a concrete jungle, forced to kill each other for their freedom, and viewers would place their bets on who had a chance at survival. So that is the kind of the summary of the film, and sort of the clips they show, in the trailer. So
is that what you've sent me, the trailer for that, or for the TV?
No, so I sent you the link to that trailer, and then I emailed yourself a clip, I think a 1.5-minute clip from Countdown to Murder. I emailed
what I'll do is, after the interview, that'll be on for people listening. That I'll put that on at the end of the interview so they can watch that. That's great. So you in prep for this new film then at the minute?
Yeah. So what it is, this one, I've actually already filmed it.
Oh right, okay. How did filming go?
Yeah, the filming went well. Again, not to give anything too much away, but
spoilers.
Yeah, a big no.
Yeah.
And but again, it's the filming went really well. Again, I got to meet new people. I got to meet the director, Birmingham-based director Ranji, and I got to see his previous work as well. He's got he's done some films on which are on Amazon Prime. He's got a new short film coming out on Amazon Prime. It's called The Last Goodbye, on the 31st of March.
Oh, right,
I think that's released here in the UK and in the USA, I think.
Yeah.
So I just liked his sort of his idea, his focus, what he was trying to tell. And he knew what he wanted, which I like about him. He was certain that actually, when I did, so let's say I was doing my scene, and I think I said a line, and he goes, well, actually, can you try it this way? Can you try and do that line this way? And so, he was very kind of
working together.
And it was enjoyable. And again, I got to meet new creatives again. I keep in touch with them now. So
that's good.
It's built on from there, and again, I'm, as and when I can, obviously looking forward to its release, and hopefully later on down the line can speak more about this project.
Did you get to do any stunts?
Did I get to do any stunts?
Any action? You said it was an action.
It was an action. It was an action thriller, but no, I didn't personally get to do any stunts.
Oh.
But
you can't say.
No, I didn't get to do. I
bet you die. I bet you die in it, don't you? You can't say. I bet you die in it. You did your first death scene.
Actually, no. It wasn't a death scene. No, which was good. But in terms of this was the first time where it's. I mean, maybe it was just a demand for the story, but it was the first time where it's my character has been, I think, utilized in quite a good manner, if that makes sense, in terms of the length of the character and what that character is trying, the journey, what he's trying to say. So that's why I wanted to get involved, and plus when I seen that, because they'd already filmed part of the film, when I seen the teaser trailer on YouTube, and all I did was I looked at that trailer and I thought to myself, I've got to get involved in this film somehow. And luckily, they were still casting for it.
No,
so
that's good.
I'm happy I got involved in in this film, Exiled, and hopefully, like I was saying, later on down the line, when I can, I'll speak more about it, because I do want to speak more about it and share more details on it.
Definitely.
But,
And what's for you next then, Gurps? Have you got anything lined up at the minute, or are you just looking?
At the minute, it's I'm just waiting. It's waiting for confirmation. Actually, it's because of lockdown and everything that's happened. It's kind of put things on hold. But there's this project I'm doing. It's called it's a true crime series. It's called Wrongfully Convicted.
Oh, right, okay.
Now I'm doing a role in that. What role I'm doing, I'm not sure yet, because I think the director, he's got quite a few people to get back onto. But one good thing from what I can say from that is that it's going to be on Netflix.
Woo! Netflix.
And and
the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. How's it got it on Netflix?
To be fair, Lee, I'm not too sure, because I wasn't in touch with the people associated with the director. But what I seen was, I was just scrolling through Facebook, and I've seen on their page they'd uploaded sort of like a background cover picture. So it was just like
he's done well if he's got it on there. That's the Holy Grail to try and get Netflix
but at the bottom he had on the actual cover it said IMDb, and it said Netflix on this side. And it's the first time I'd seen it, and my eyes just went, really?
That's good. Yeah. You'd have to tell him to come on the show and talk about the project. I'd be interested to talk to him about the film. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll have a word with him, actually, because you put a post out recently, and then so I've only just started speaking to him again. But I'll speak to him and try and get him on the show. It'd be good.
Sounds interesting. So you're keeping yourself busy then. You've got things lined up, which is great, isn't it? For an actor, every actor will say, if I've got stuff coming up and keeping active, that is what an actor wants to be doing. So if you've got jobs, that's great news.
Yeah. It's just because again, with COVID. With COVID hitting, obviously it's hit people hard. He's put productions on the back foot.
Yeah, it has a bit. People are still filming though. They're just making a safe environment. So
they are. Yeah, they're still filming, and obviously like castings and stuff are starting to come through now from agents. Yeah. So it's getting there slowly but surely.
It is. Now, if you were to give advice, Gurps, to a young actor or someone who wanted to get into the game, what would it be? What's your bit of advice?
So my advice would be that. Okay, so I think maybe a little bit different, in the sense that now I don't know if this is confusing, but I would say so. If you want to get into acting, like to do it, I would say if it's something you want to do, then I would probably say, and I don't mean this in a kind of negative way. It's just because obviously how long it takes to get from one point to another. I would say if in your head you can say acting is something I have to do, then you kind of, I would say, kind of go ahead, do it, put your full sort of 100% commitment, and I'd say definitely, get some. You need to get some headshots done. So you need professional headshots, and try and get sort of a range of headshots where the photographer can bring out sort of the best in you in terms of your look and everything. So headshots, get involved in short films, and people who are making short films, get some footage there, get a show reel made so you can show your you can show directors what you're about and what you can bring to the table, so yeah, and just keep going, keep applying for jobs. Again, if like I was just saying, if acting is something you have to do, stick to it. Don't lose hope. The string of rejections is in preparation for a project you will get. It may take some time. It does take time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But no, that's sound advice, Gurps.
But stick to it, keep going no matter what, and you will get there, because I believe that if you really want something and you keep prodding away at it, you'll go round and round in circles, but you will get to that point.
Good point.
And just keep going, and
Good advice. And I always ask my guests for a favourite. It can be a film, a book, or anything really, just that it's accessible by all. Have you got a favourite?
So a film, I would say, I'm going to say an oldish film that I've recently watched.
All right, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it is accessible to everyone. It's a Tom Cruise film. It's called Valkyrie.
Oh yeah, good film, and a true story. Very good film.
A true story, set during the war. I enjoyed it, the way it was all put together, the characters and everything.
The tension, the way they mount the tension as well.
Yeah, the
tension,
the very plot.
Good. And Tom Cruise gets a lot of stick sometimes for some of the roles he does, because it's always action. And I like him when you see him in roles like that it's not an action role. It's about character. He is a very good actor, and that's
he is a good actor. He does get stick because he's done like the Mission Impossible series. They may not be the same, but some of his roles, let's say, are similar. But at the end of the day, he is the best at what he does.
Oh yeah, very good.
And I remember watching an episode of Graham Norton when he was on there for filming one of his Mission Impossible films, and there was a stunt where he did actually hurt his foot. He was jumping from one building.
He broke his foot.
He broke his foot, and he was Graham Norton. Tom Cruise was saying this to Graham Norton, and he was just listening to him, and he paused and he goes, "Well, that's why you get paid the big bucks." He just went like that, and he was yeah. But no, it's that's Valkyrie. Good. I did enjoy.
That's a good shout, and it's not that old actually. So if people haven't watched it, they need to watch that. And if people want to get in touch, Gurps, where can they find you?
Yeah, so if my main ones are actually Instagram. So it's Gurps124 is my actual Instagram handle, and Twitter is @Gurps321.
You try and make things difficult, don't you?
I know. Apologies for all the numbers.
I don't even think I've got you. 124. Right, Gurps 124.
Yeah. My apologies for all the numbers, but at the time when it was coming up with a username, they were the only ones available.
Well, what I'll do, I'll put links in everything anyway in the show notes, so that's fine. Well, look, Gurps, it's been an absolute joy having you on, and no doubt we'll be in touch again, and hopefully we'll
Yeah,
have to meet up for a coffee when lockdown's finished.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been following your film, the updates you've been putting on.
Good.
I've seen the trailer and everything. You know,
Yeah.
I am looking forward to seeing more. Again, I know
Good.
COVID has put it to a stop, but again,
Yeah.
I hope that does get going again for you, and
thanks,
you get
mate.
it to where you need to.
Thanks.
So,
Well, hopefully in July, August, we'll be able to have a premiere. So I'll
Yeah.
be sending you an invite. So don't worry, and you can come and watch it. So hopefully we're allowed back in the cinemas, please.
Yeah, Boris lets us loose. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. But look after yourself. Have a great Saturday, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay.
Speak to you soon, Lee.
See you later.
Bye. Bye. Take care. Bye. Bye.
So that's it. Massive thanks again to Gurps for joining me today, and also to you for listening. Make sure you follow the podcast, because coming up over the next months, there are some cracking interviews. Trust me, some brilliant interviews. I may have already done them. Are they pre-recorded and not live? I hear you gasp. Anyway, of course, they're pre-recorded. I ain't got that much time on my hands. I'm not Anton Deck, you know. Anyway, remember, we're streaming on all... I've got to stop saying it anyway. We're streaming on all the usual platforms, iTunes, Spotify. So please leave a rating on there and subscribe. It makes all the difference. To keep up to date on social media, Facebook's My Way of Thinking Podcast, Instagram's MWOT Podcast. Every week, also put the whole conversation on YouTube. So just search My Way of Thinking Podcast. And remember, if you think you'd be a good guest, or you know someone would be a good guest, email me. It's mawatpodcast@aol.com. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Thanks ever so much for listening in. Until next time, God bless. Take care.